You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by NetSuite. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. Jay Ferg's traveling today, so we went to the bullpen. Charlie,
surprise.
Auburn message board legend, double dipping. People keep saying they want more Charlie 5, so we're just giving the people what they want.
You got all you can handle right now. Let's go. Happy Friday. Let's do this thing.
So the thing that stood out to me most about signing day for the Auburn Tigers, Charlie 5, and I touched on this at the end of yesterday's show because I didn't want to lead with it because I knew folks wanted to hear our thoughts on the prospects and the new guys. So, but I want to make sure that this message gets across because I think it's really, really important to notice these little things that Bryan Harsin has changed about the football program as a whole, and of course the outward messaging that we're doing, because none of it is on accident. But the attention to detail that they've done and how they've crafted the message of signing with Auburn will get you to the NFL, I think is extremely interesting. I don't think Auburn hung its hat on Derek Brown's success enough. I really don't. And you're seeing some of these other guys that are playing in the league that that Auburn is starting to use more in these promotional videos leading up to signing day. And then obviously we all saw the videos where Bryan Harsin went up to the podium. They played the NFL draft music, and you had the commits, the signees saying, man, this is awesome. This is really, really cool.
The music and everything.
All of it. And just associating signing Auburn with the NFL draft, I think is going to go a long, long way.
I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little bit controversial. You ready for it? Family only gets you so far. Preaching family only gets you so far. And there's got to be, I hate to say that, and I know that's probably going to make some people angry. It's good. It's a good part about Auburn. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But the family only takes you so far. You got to start producing. You got to start talking to these kids about their future. You got to get them fired up. They're thinking about one thing, money, NFL, got to get there. And the messaging, having Bryan Harsin dressed to the nines, looking like the commissioner. And you go out to the.
I'm sorry, he is way more handsome than Roger Goodell.
1,000 times more handsome.
Not even close.
Infinitely more handsome than Roger Goodell. But you got to do things like that to build excitement and build the idea that I'm not going to a country club hangout. I'm going for business. I'm going to go. I can get to the NFL from Auburn just as easy as I can anywhere else if I'm willing to work hard and put the effort in. And I loved that. I loved that messaging. I love that messaging.
Even the attention to detail, Charlie 5, and later in the day, he had Schmetting's kid go up there and announce the name, much like they do later in the draft. They get the fans that have won contests and, cool stories to come up and do. Very similar.
It felt like the draft.
It was the coolest thing, and none of that's done on accident.
This is something, a little tidbit that you got to understand too.
Yeah.
This was pre-produced. So in other words, all these guys, it was clearly strategically planned the way it was done. In other words, they knew all the guys when they signed, and when they were the new guys that were committing on signing day, they knew ahead of time. Like they already knew that they were getting them. So it wasn't any wait and see. A lot of things were locked up, and it was maximum exposure to me is what it was trying to achieve. And I think they pulled it off. I think it was really, really well done.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I expect to see Auburn use more dudes that have made the league in the last 6 years that we don't talk about enough. Like, it's the weirdest thing to me, like how little we use D Ford. Like, that is odd to me. Like a first round pick one of the better pass rushers in the league when he was at his prime a few seasons ago. Like, I don't understand. Like Derek Brown, I just don't think we use his
not nearly enough.
His success enough, especially when we've seen how dominant a defense can be if you have good defensive line. Marlon got a pick six.
He scored a touchdown
a few weeks ago. And
did we talk about it? I don't think we really even talked about it that much.
And so those are things that I think you're going to see the messaging change, and Auburn's going to grab those things moving forward.
The two starting corners for the Bucs are Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. Like, that is
Super Bowl champion Bucs. Right.
That is huge. They just won Super Bowls, and they were bookend corners. Like, that kind of stuff. Everybody talks about, business decisions and all this kind of stuff. You can get to the NFL just as good at Auburn as you can anywhere else. There is no magic formula. There is no magic formula anywhere else. I wanted to get into I started to get into a debate with a buddy of mine. He talked about how Alabama puts more guys into the NFL. And my argument always to that is that they recruit more guys that have a higher probability of being drafted. So by default, it looks like we're producing NFL talent, but in fact, we just are recruiting guys that would have been drafted anyway. More of those guys.
They're winning the recruiting battles and getting more of the 4 and 5 stars. But like,
exactly,
if Roger McCreary goes to Alabama, he is not a first round pick. I don't think he gets on the field enough.
I don't know. He's that, but maybe the marketing was better coming to Auburn. But I think he could have started for Alabama this year. I think he would have been probably their top corner this year. Anywhere obviously he was All-American. So really anywhere. Maybe I see your point. He got on the field earlier.
I just think his path is different in this scenario.
He did get on the field earlier and had more of an opportunity to get. I think it's more impressive to me for a 3-star or a 2-star. I guess he was like even a 2-star to come into a program and develop and become a first-round pick than it is, a top 25 player that is already supposed to do that anyway. So.
Right. And then Auburn signs all of these defensive backs over the course of the week, and it's like, yeah, they're looking at Roger. I think that's a big part of it. So
huge. It's definitely huge.
So I'm glad other people noticed that, because that really, really stood out to me, and I thought that was really, really, really important. So, hey, this is it. If you sink it, the championship is yours, but on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're still relying on outdated technology and spreadsheets and just old finance software. To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power the growth of your business. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite, and right now, through the end of the year, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA. That is netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA. Also, hey, betonline.ag, proud partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And BetOnline has you covered throughout the bowl season and throughout the NFL season, and NBA is going on right now. It's the one-stop shop for all of your betting needs. And BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the sports action this season and postseason. Head to their new website, betonline.ag, on your desktop, your computer, your smartphone, and check out their new design website. And they're offering a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to receive that bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts. Charlie 5, some news happened Thursday. Brodarius Hamm announces via his Instagram page that he is going to the NFL draft. So he will not be an Auburn Tiger next season. First off, props to Bro Hamm. He's fought a lot of adversity. Good for him. Wish him nothing but the best. Auburn's offensive line situation is really, really bad. It's not in a good spot at all. We were looking at it beforehand. Auburn's going to have between 9 or 10 scholarship guys, it looks like. And they're going to have to add dudes in the portal. There was a conversation going on at the Auburn Live message board, the On3 message board at the corner. And it's like most dudes have 15 to 16. Most teams have 15 to 16 scholarship offensive linemen. and you look throughout this roster, and it's like, how many of these are starting SEC caliber offensive linemen?
Right.
3? Like maybe. And so like this is not good.
And they're all interior, it seems like. The
Right.
better ones seem like they're all interior.
Yeah, I think Auburn's guard situation has been fine.
Sure.
And I think, I don't think we know about Nick Brahms yet. My guess is he'll leave, but he could come back, is my understanding. So,
right.
I don't know. I just, this is not a good spot for the Tigers to be in. Look,
Right.
I see a path to improvement at every position group with the exception of offensive line. I can talk myself into the receivers being better, the running backs being better, quarterback play being more consistent, and then defense I think will be fine once they fill in some gaps there. But I can talk myself into every position being good enough to compete in 2022, but the offensive line is an issue, and I don't see a clear-cut answer on how to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, the only answer that's even remotely possible is through the portal. And that's what you're going to have to rely on. That's literally the only answer. And that's you're probably going to have to get at least 2 to 3. I do think we'll end up with probably at least 3 high school offensive linemen, at least 3, I would think, possibly 4.
So currently we have
but
one,
none of them.
Right?
Currently, we have one, and he may be the only one that's got the ability. Maybe one more, Jalen Farmer, that I think we're targeting, may have the ability to play tackle.
That is a great offensive lineman name, Jalen Farmer. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So you're going to have at least
signing Charlie 5. Is he signing later? He's waiting until February.
He's a late. The next 3, well, you already got Harris. I think you're looking at Jalen Farmer, Inez Cooper. Those probably be your late signees. If they'll probably that's really all that's left. The one big one, Julian, I guess you say his name like Arlema or something like that. He was gonna push off. We were gonna go hard at him. He's like a 5-star, and then he ended up signing today, I think, or late last night. He changed his mind and he ended up signing last night. So so offensive line is obviously a concern, and you wonder how it's not easy to sell playing time. But I'll say this: the portal is I think is not necessarily a poor option to fill a hole quickly now. I think actually we can find some players. There's some good players going in, or they may not necessarily even be in yet. You look at guys like you got 2 guys from Oregon, that were possibly targeted, that we identified that we may have wanted before, everything was necessarily. Right. I don't think conversation or anything like that can happen, but there may be guys that we got our eyes on that we have heard or think they may go into the portal, or heard chatter from players or things like that. So there's a ton of options. There's going to be a ton of options. The
portal guys is from Alabama. He's just coming.
2 of them are. Both of them are.
Both the corner is too.
The corners from Spanish Fort and the defensive tackles from Calera. So
I mean, they probably know guys that they played with. They're on Auburn.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
these guys talk. They talk to coaches. Hey, so and so guy went to high school. He's over it. I mean, that's how we got Marcus Harris. From Kansas. He's from He was from Montgomery. So
worked out pretty good.
Yeah, there's going to be options there, and I think you really can only go. You can't get. I don't feel like you can get worse on the offensive line by adding portal guys. You just got to get after them.
Well, maybe. I mean, the offensive line was better last year than it was 2 seasons ago. Them bringing back these guys, they did get better, and I think the offense of the scheme I think helped them some too, just because it wasn't super obvious what they were running at times. So
keep them guessing a little bit for sure.
Yeah, but I think with what Carson wants to do with this offensive coordinator change, I would assume they're going to run it more. And I don't know how that's happening. Like, thank goodness Tank's coming back, because when people were saying like, "Oh, we'll be fine without Tank," it's like, no, I don't think you understand how much he did, helping that offensive line. That's not that's a special back that was able to kind of make the plays that he did behind that offensive line.
He did. He's definitely important for sure. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt. But you got to be able to. Go ahead.
I'm concerned about the offensive line.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. You got to be
right. And I think you have to hope at this point that you're going to get a next wave of transfer guys.
You will after bowl season. Yeah.
Or
Well, I think you're going to get some. You'll have some after the bowl season and whatnot's done.
what do you think that looks like? Why are people going to transfer after the bowl season? They just want to try to get
Just
another
get the season over. Get the season over with. Try not to leave in the middle. There's going to be I feel like after bowl season, there's going to be a rush of guys to try to get in before the February signing period.
Mm-hmm.
So they can start the semester now. And then you're going to have your late guys. You're going to have your late guys that maybe after spring ball that report in June. I think it's pretty important that Auburn lands some guys that can come in and go through spring. I think it's important. I would be shocked if we don't have any portal guys added to this roster before school starts. That would be shocking and concerning, I would think, if that's not the case.
Yeah. And I kind of think we're going to sign one and then 2 hours later we'll sign another one. And I think it's going to come in a batch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can see that happening.
Yeah. Who do you think of all the guys that were signed this week? Any potential starters you think in 2022? Or are these all future?
Oh yeah. I think that all three of I'm sorry, I can't say three yet. At least two of the JUCO guys have a very good chance of starting. Keontae Scott. I've heard some things about how bad Tennessee ended up wanting him and tried to get him at the end. That
it's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame they missed out on him.
Yeah, they tried really hard. Like they wanted this kid bad, and
right.
That we were able to kind of salvage it and save him. He's definitely a player. And then you have Gilbert as well, who, will Smoke come back? Will he not? Kobe Hudson had an Instagram live, and he kind of hinted that Smoke may come back. I don't know, but
yeah. And then one of the pre-produced pieces on social that we were talking about, Derek Mason talked about him filling in for Smoke, and so it's like, did he just tell Smoke's not coming back? So I don't.
Yeah, you don't know.
I'm assuming Smoke is not coming back until I'm told something else.
Absolutely. As far as the other guys, maybe somebody like
Woodyard, maybe
a Woodyard could find some playing time.
Spots open.
Yeah, there's definitely some availability there. I think everybody else is just going. I think especially on defense, I feel like the starters were kind of sort of set. Like I think the starters are probably pretty solid. It's that second team, third team that
right.
We don't really know, or we're not very deep. And I think we got a bunch of guys that fill those voids. I just don't know how many potential just starters, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think we're pretty talented on defense, and the offensive class was just really small. I think you could see a guy like Amari Kelly, if he can handle. I could see him being sort of like a deep threat. Jay Fair kind of fits the same role as John Tavia.
I think Jay Fair is very interesting.
Yeah.
3-star, not very flashy as far as you look at the recruiting rankings, but watch that dude.
His stats were amazing too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that guy averaged like 20 yards a catch or something crazy like that. So I wonder how he fits in. But also, it seems like there's plenty of dudes like that on this roster already, like Malcolm Johnson Jr. Like, is he better than Malcolm Johnson Jr. is right now? I mean, that guy was known for speed, and he was a class ahead. So, I mean, he's really young still. So, what does that look like? And then, our fall crush, everyone's was Tarvarish Dawson. So, it's like, is he going to pass? Is a guy like Jay Fair going to come in and pass some of these dudes on the depth chart? Like, probably not, right?
Right. Yeah, probably not. You're probably right. I mean,
and hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they come in and they're incredible. And, Harsin and the staff look and they said, we have to play you. I mean, that's the goal, but I just don't see that happening. I thought Clemens would be the only dude that could really come in and do that. And then, whatever happened with that happened, but yeah.
Yeah. That was one guy, difference maker that I thought could have played right off the bat. But, I think wide receiver in the portal is going to be something we're looking at too. I think that's going to be something we're going to go after pretty hard. And there's some pretty good guys. You got, you got Jaden Gibson, I think, who was I'm sorry, Jacob Copeland from Florida that I think we're looking at pretty hard. He was Florida's leading receiver last year. So there's guys out there.
I just don't think unless folks in the transfer portal are communicating with each other, I don't think a receiver is going to come in until Auburn
gets a quarterback. Yeah.
Gets a quarterback.
Yep.
You buying the Slovis stuff?
I think so. I would be at this point in time. I would be shocked if he's not. I would actually be shocked and sort of scared, I guess, if he's not if he's not the guy. I think.
Do you think if you're a transfer portal offensive lineman, you're concerned or not? Transfer portal quarterback, are you concerned about the offensive line situation?
It would be hard not to be.
Yeah.
Unless you knew of how you already knew sort of the plan, and I think you already knew the plan of how they're going to fix it, how they're going to remedy it. That would be kind of how.
Right.
That would be the only way you could really feel more comfortable about it because it would have to be concerning.
It's a Charlie Tuesday on a Friday. Business owner and high-income professionals, listen up. Have you ever considered that by funding a 401k or an IRA, you're potentially creating a massive tax burden when you retire? Contrary to what you're told by traditional advisors and accountants, a 401k or an IRA does not save on taxes. It just postpones tax and tax calculation. Do your future self a favor and your retired self a favor and talk to Ethan Dahl, the owner of Innovative Financial Solutions. He has clients all throughout the country that have benefited and are currently benefiting from his style of financial planning. So you can contact Ethan at 251-243-6036 or email him, ethan@ethandahl.com. Ethan Dahl, your alternative to traditional financial planning. Today's show also brought to you by Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. I've gotten a few messages from folks saying that they have ordered Built Bars for Christmas gifts, and I absolutely love that. And so you can go to built.com. You can see all the different flavors they have, and you can check out the macro breakdown of how much protein's in these things, and very low in calories, very low in sugar. But yeah, take my word for it. They are delicious. I had a box of the caramel frappuccinos come in, and I had one yesterday for breakfast. It was delicious. It was very, very good. So be sure to check that out. Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off. That's at built.com. Charlie 5, a few minutes left, in this one. Coach Pink of Auburn Live put out a list of the top available players still after the flurry of commitments this past week.
Yeah.
You want to go through some of those and kind of
say,
hey, Auburn's got a chance with this guy?
Yeah, I think we can go through all 10 really quick. So number one was Jeffrey Imba. He is a 6'6", 305-pound monster child from France. JUCO defensive lineman, the number one JUCO player in period. The number one JUCO player in the country. He is an absolute brick house, just monster. He's the one whose Twitter handles Thanos, but he signed with a school on Wednesday. He will announce it on Sunday, the 19th.
This seems to be a terribly kept secret, but
terribly kept secret. I think we should feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I think he will be an Auburn Tiger, and he could be. I've heard that Derek Eason thinks this guy could be
Derek Mason.
No, I'm sorry. Is it Eason? Eason is the defensive line coach.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks that this guy is could be a first round pick. So
I love that.
Be excited about him. Probably going to be a Tiger. Number two, Trace Citizen. He's also one of the top running backs in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We got him, I feel like, to decommit we definitely Trevon and all those dudes worked on him hard, got him to decommit from LSU, which is very, very big.
Yes.
He's a Louisiana running back, committed to LSU for a long time. We got him to decommit. So we're going to go hard after him. A good thing. This is a really good thing. So we sent all coaches in there already to visit him. So you don't really have many in-home visits left. We have a new offensive coordinator now. So boom, you got another chance to go in home with him. And when the dead period's over, I like our chances there. That will be a big one. We really want him bad. You got Keaton Slovis. I already talked about him. He is the USC quarterback.
Right.
He was a phenom his freshman and sophomore years. His junior year, he got banged up a little bit, but he is transferring. He just seems like a prototype Harsin quarterback. At this point in time, I'll be more shocked if he's not Auburn's starting quarterback next year. Tay Woody, 4-star offensive / defensive lineman. He's like interior. He could be an interior on both sides, interior D-line or O-line. I think he was also committed to Florida State for a long time. He's from not far away from Auburn. I think we got a good chance to push for him. I think they're maybe possibly checking on some academics. That's maybe why he held off a little bit. Jalen Farmer, I think he'll probably be a Tiger. DJ James, cornerback from Oregon transfer, I think he'll be a Tiger. Jason Jones, 6'7", 340-pound defensive lineman, transfer from Oregon, played as a true freshman. He's from Calera. We already talked about it. I think he'll be a Tiger.
Right.
Eugene Asante, transfer from North Carolina, linebacker. We may be looking to take a linebacker portal guy. This could be one we do.
I think Auburn should take a portal linebacker. Yeah,
sure, I do too. And then you got a EJ Lightsley, who was a decommit from Florida linebacker. This will be a freshman if he comes in. He'd be just like a regular recruit. He's available. He didn't sign, so maybe be looking at him. And then already talked about Jacob Copeland, the wide receiver in the portal from Florida. And there could be some other portal guys popping up soon, possibly at wide receiver. So, it's a different. If you like recruiting, it's kind of a different aspect. It's actually very entertaining. So there's still, don't get caught up on the 12th, 13th ranking. We're going to add to it. So be on the lookout. Dead period lasts until like early January, and
you can win recruiting 12th or 13th. I mean, Auburn got dang close multiple times under Gus.
Yeah.
The thing is, you've got to be balanced at all of your positions, and then when lightning strikes, you're able to be in a situation where talent can compete.
Right.
The issue is you can't be 12th or 13th and just not have one position, and that's
right.
What Auburn's been doing for the past decade. Is it like you can't win offensive linemen? So I think this class is good enough to compete. It's just you need offensive line.
Can you finish it off and fill your needs? Yes, yeah. I'm with you 100%.
I can have the portal. I mean, there are dudes out there, but can Auburn get them? That's right. The question. Because we're going to see starting time or playing time and starting roles, but a lot of people can. So what's going to set Auburn apart? Charlie 5, what's going on these days with the Dad Bod Golf Pod? How can people listen? How can people support you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, dude. Monday through Friday, we're talking about golf. So if you want to talk about Tiger Woods is playing golf this weekend, guys. So he's playing a scramble with his son. It's going to be appointment television. So we talk a little bit about it on yesterday's episode. So we try to talk about Tiger a lot. So Dad Bod Golf Pod, Monday through Friday. Have a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5. Mix it up on the message boards, auburnlive.com, the corner message board, Auburn 247 Sports, Body Get Aboard. And we have been having a blast in the Locked On Auburn Discord. Check Zach's posted the link several times. Zach's posted the link several times. We're having a blast.
Yeah, be sure to check that out. I'll put the link to the Discord in the episode description down below. Hey, enjoy your weekend. Watch some Auburn basketball, and we'll be back Monday to recap the weekend right here on Locked On Auburn.